Howdy my friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Shay and today we are going to start a new reading vlog. If you don't know what I'm doing in the month of May, each week I am picking a new one of my jars and I am reading books out of it for that week. Now, the previous weeks I have done, they have passed, they have gone fantastically, they have gone swimmingly, and this week I am doing my new releases jar. This has all the books I'm excited to read, all of my anticipated new releases coming out from January to today's date, which is May the 25th of 2024. So here we are, here's the jar, here's the books, and here we go. I'm gonna draw my first one. I'm very excited. Of course, I'm hoping all of these are on audio. I'm pretty positive all of these have an audio, and I have plenty of Audible credits. So let's see what we're going to start out reading. Again, I don't know how many books I'm going to get to in this vlog in this week, because if you haven't been following along, my work has gotten really crazy where I'm working 10, 11, 12-hour days. And by the time I get home, my brain is just spent. But this is my next to read. One Perfect Couple. I think this book just came out. Is this Ruth Ware's new book? I think this is. I literally think this is Ruth Ware's new book. It's great because I feel like I've been reading a lot of fantasy, which is great. I love fantasy. But to switch it up and go to a thriller, again, kind of is going to maybe reset my brain here. This is Ruth Ware's new book, Ruth Ware's One Perfect Couple. Came out on May the 21st, so just came out this week. Look at me being ahead of everybody. I'm going to read One Perfect Couple. When I have some things to say, I will pop back in. I don't even know what this book is about, but we'll find out together. Okay, so I think I'm about 30% into One Perfect Couple. I am really enjoying this. So it is kind of reminding me of One by One, which I've already read this year. I read it, I can't remember what month I read it, but I ended up not really caring for that book by Ruth Ware, but it's reminding me a lot of the setup of that book. So in this book, we have this couple who are going on a reality show that the main male in the couple believes that it's going to shoot him to stardom. He's an actor, and so he gets his girlfriend to come onto this show. And this show takes place on a deserted island, and quickly when they get there, they realize that, man, this is just not what they signed up for. And some things start happening, and I really can't say much more because it's going to spoil it, but obviously something's going to happen. People are going to die, all of that. I do think it reminds me a little bit of One by One because it's the same thing. It's an isolated setting with a whole ton of people to get to know, and then you're trying to figure out who the killer is. And this is the same kind of setup. We have an isolated setting. We have a whole bunch of people, and we are, obviously somebody's going to get killed, and we're going to try to figure out which one of them did it. So same setup, and also Ruth Ware uses the same audiobook narrator for her books, which is Imogen, oh my gosh, I can't remember. Imogen Church, yes. And so I feel like I'm listening to One by One because One by One swept me up for some time and until it turned. So I think I'm about 30% into this, and I'm interested. I'm wanting to turn the pages. It's that kind of like popcorny read for me. And I'm going to continue to read because I'm enjoying my time. I need some mojo. It's going to be a good time. And I cannot wait to continue to read the book. And I will pop in maybe when I finish, maybe when my thoughts have changed. I'll let you know. Alright, it's Sunday. And I have finished One Perfect Couple. I'm filming from odd places because we have some company over at the house. So it's kind of weird to kind of get in the regular filming groove. But One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware, it was the same as One by One for me. It felt very flat. I don't know, she has this way where the endings just aren't good for me, and that's what kind of makes a mystery thriller, is the ending and what you kind of put all this effort into reading for. And so I gave One by One 2 stars. I'm gonna give this one 3 stars because I felt like I was a little bit more entertained than I was in One by One. But yeah, I just, and it has a lot to do with the audiobook because again, Imogen Church does this audiobook. She does all of Ruth Ware's audiobook, and because this book and One by One are very similar, the voices are kind of the same, and I didn't read One by One that long ago. So it's gonna get a 3 stars from me. If I thought really hard about it, it may go down to a 2-star, and now I have this jar. It's really hard to film me picking from it, but I'm going to pick another pick. It's Sunday. It's a 3-day weekend. That is one good thing about this. Can you see that? It says Escape Velocity. So this one is a sci-fi. I think I can see the cover in my mind, but I'll see if I can get a hold of this one and if I can read it. I read One Perfect Couple through Everand, and this one, I don't know. Let me see where I can get a hold of this book from, and then I'll pop in when I have further thoughts. Okay, it's me back again. I think I'm going to DNF Escape Velocity. So interestingly, when I went to Goodreads to look up this book, it has an average of 3.6. Not many reviews, and I went to go look at the Audible, how much it was going to cost on Audible, whether I should use a credit on it, and it had one star review. And not to say that I take that with a grain of salt. This is a beautiful cover. But instead of purchasing the audio book, I decided to read some reviews, and then I decided to borrow the book, the ebook, and kind of see if the writing style was for me. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I read like 50 pages, but my only thing is this book is kind of, the first chapter really hooked me because this is about an astronaut who obviously he's out floating into space, and we don't know really what happened to him and how he got there, but he quickly realizes, and this is not a spoiler, this is literally in the first chapter, he realizes that somebody has pushed him off of this floating space luxury liner. He's slowly getting his memory back, okay? And of course the AC is going to turn on, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to DNF this because I was hooked by the first chapter, and then we start getting into this luxury liner. This essentially follows this prestigious boarding school people that are at this reunion, 25th reunion of their prestigious boarding schools. So it's full of a bunch of just rich people. And clearly, you know, that something, again, this is like the thriller, like something happened back in the day. Somebody died back in the day, and now they're all coming back together. They haven't seen each other in a very long time, and things are going to start happening now. Because clearly, in the first chapter, we were in the future of somebody who had been pushed off of the liner. But anyway, it's a sci-fi murder mystery. It's not YA, it is adult. I feel like it was going to be a lot of politics, a lot of rich people things, and that's just not kind of me and what I kind of want to read. So I DNF'd it. But I do think that there is an audience for this. It was very interesting. If you like that kind of dramatization of things, I think you would like this. So I've got my jar again, and I'm going to pick another book out of it because I feel like coming to this one, and this is going to be Funny Story by Miss Emily Henry. I've wanted to read this. I just read Happy Place not that long ago, and it looks like I'm going to be reading Funny Story. I could not be more excited. I think that I will get through this one quite quickly, so I'm excited, and I will check back in when I get into this one. Okay, we're back in the normal filming spot. Yes, guests are gone, house is good. So I finished Funny Story by Emily Henry. I read it in one sitting, 5 stars, 100%. Loved this book. I don't even know why. I just feel like it hit me in the right spot at the right time. So we have our hero and our heroine. Our heroine has just been, dumped by her fiance, who cheated on her with his best friend at his bachelor party. So he comes home from his bachelor party and breaks up with her and tells her he's moving on, he's not marrying her, and she has to get out of his house. And so she is looking for some place to go, and in comes our hero, who is the other half of the woman that her fiance cheated on her with at the bachelor party. So we have our hero and our heroine, and they move in together just as friends, just to help her get her off her feet. They're both very sorrowful. They are very devastated because our hero has been with this woman for 3+ years, and I'm not quite sure how long our heroine has been with, the cheating fiance, but for a while, and they're all just devastated. There's hard-hitting topics in here, like absentee families and all kinds of different things. And I just loved our hero so very much. Like, he was just down to earth. He was just like so cute. Loved him. There were times in this book that I teared up. I don't tear up very lightly, but there are times in this book that I teared up. Like, I felt the emotion. And y'all, Julia Whalen does a phenomenal job with audio. Phenomenal. I cannot remember the last time I really felt so much for these characters. A good audiobook narrator does make a great book. So this was a 5-star. And yeah, Emily Henry sometimes is hit or miss for me. This is right up there with People We Meet on Vacation. I'm the unpopular opinion because most people don't like People We Meet on Vacation. But People We Meet on Vacation, book lovers, and now this one, my favorite, Emily Henry's. Okay, so we're gonna pick another new release book. It's still Sunday, so we have a lot left to go. I have a lot of thrillers in here. I picked 2. Uh-oh. I dropped them both. Okay, here it is. Let's see if I can find this book. This is, I don't know if you can see this. This is Letters to the Luminous Deep. I've heard some really bad reviews on this book, and I've heard some really good reviews on this book, and I don't know which one I'm going to fall into, but this is a fantasy romance that came out in April. So I don't know why I'm getting all the like April, May releases, but it's fine because I will see if I can find this and then pop back in with my thoughts and feelings. Okay, let's talk about this book. I am going to go ahead and DNF it. I read a little bit over 50%. I haven't checked in. Again, you know, brain. But this is a very, very slow burn book. And originally I was really enjoying it, but it's very slow burn. So basically this whole novel is written in epistolary format, which is basically just letters from people back and forth. And not necessarily the same 2 people back and forth. It kind of gets confusing about the letters and who they're talking to back and forth. Sometimes it can be confusing, but basically we're following this girl, and she lives under the sea, and she's exploring and finding all kinds of sea life and sea creatures, and she lives in this habitat that is underwater, under the sea, and she has discovered a new sea creature, and she reaches out to a scholar who knows about sea creatures, and they start this correspondence back and forth of letters. And then it's kind of a slow burn kind of love story. They end up, you know, liking each other, and he comes and visits them, and while he is visiting, there is a quake in the underworld habitat, and it's basically destroyed, and basically these people are felt to be deceased, lost at sea, died at sea. And so we are getting the letters back and forth from those 2 as their relationship grows. It's just a very, very, very slow build. And then we are getting letters from the future where the girl's sister and the guy's brother are kind of corresponding back and forth and sharing these letters so that they can kind of grasp what happened in the last year and last moments of these 2 lives. So we're kind of getting that. So it's this romance story between these past lives and this kind of found family-ish vibes between the girl's sister and the boy's brother as they're sharing their kind of grief over their siblings' death. And I do think it was super gripping me at first, and then as it kept going and kept going and kept going, and we're just reading letters back and forth, I got a little bored. I did, but if you like whimsical, slow burn, kind of a cozy fantasy vibe, this may be for you. It just wasn't for me. I had a sneaking suspicion that this was not going to be a book for me, but I tried to pick it up anyway because I was reading such great reviews about this book, but it just didn't work for me. But that's going to be the end of this experiment. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I read a lot more than I thought I would get read, considering everything that was going on in the month of May. What did you guys read in the month of May? Let me know, and I'll catch you guys later.